I suffer from mental health issues. I
Mhm.
always have. It runs in my family. We're so busy trying to label people, and
Yeah.
that almost creates more trauma in itself. So I always thought there was something wrong with me. I'm like living in Miami,
Mhm.
there everybody does yoga and everybody
Yeah.
has acai bowls.
Mhm.
I think I was doing it because it was trendy, but I wasn't really understanding it. Things that people suffer with are deeply on an energetic level. They
Mhm.
don't need these prescription pills. They don't
Yeah.
need all this stuff. And you're working with money. You're touching people's hands.
Mhm.
You're touching things constantly. You are getting people's energy
Mhm.
on you. You have to be careful when you
Mhm.
do this type of work.
Mhm.
I had a very, very powerful awakening. I hated myself. And I
Mhm.
said,
Mm.
I never want to feel this way again. Perfect.
Hi, and welcome to this episode of Connecting the Thoughts. We have Melissa Laurie here with us. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here. I'm so excited that we're doing this.
I'm so grateful. It's a long time. It's been way overdue for us to do this.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So please, I would love for you to tell everyone that is listening to this, what do you do?
This is probably I would say my favorite, but also my least favorite question I ever get.
Yep.
Because as multidimensional beings, as spiritual beings, the question of what we do, it's right. Like, I feel like the number one question you get asked on a date, the number one question you get asked when someone meets you is, what do you do?
Yeah.
And, it's such a broad, because I do
Yes.
so many things. There's so many things. And for the longest time in my biography, my phrase or my motto was everything and nothing. People are like, well, what does that mean?
Yeah.
I don't like to be boxed in.
Yeah.
I'm a singer, I'm a songwriter, I'm a model, I'm an artist, I'm an influencer, I'm a Reiki master teacher, I'm a coach. The list is endless, and so are the possibilities. So I almost like to tell people it's a shorter list of what I don't do,
Yeah.
and that would be a shorter list of what I do. I think people know me mostly, I would say, from the modeling industry. Now, I'm still in the industry, I'm still creating, I'm still modeling, I'm still making art, but my passion and my journey took me into the spiritual realm, the
Mhm.
holistic world, the plant medicine side,
Yeah.
and everything kind of transformed for me probably about, I feel like it's about 10 years that I'm in the plant medicine space.
Okay,
And
beautiful.
then from there, I became a Reiki master teacher. I am versed in hypnosis, sound healing, emotional freedom technique. There's so essential oils, crystals, everything.
Yeah, I love that. A little bit of both. And so I love that we started with that broad because that was a great way of touching on all the little pieces that make you you. And you don't have to be one thing, right? It doesn't have to be just this or just that. You are a multifaceted human being. And so I want to touch into this and I do want to dive into this about your Reiki practice and Mel's Mystics because you recently just released this. So, first,
Yes.
for the listeners right now, the person listening to this is, how would you describe Reiki? How would you explain it?
Okay, so in like layman's terms, for
Yep.
someone that has no idea,
Mm-hmm.
most people are totally in the dark about this, by the way, and they're very confused. They think it's some sort of like massage. A lot of people actually thinks it's similar to like tantra and it's sexual.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, there's similarities in everything, but there is no. I like to say it's a massage for your mind.
Yeah.
Reiki, it's a Japanese relaxation technique.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not massaging you. I'm not altering your mind. There's no
Mm-hmm.
substances. I say it's a massage for your mind, and I am guiding you. You are the healer. You are the one that is in charge. I'm just a guide. I'm
Yeah.
someone that did the teachings, that studied, that
Mm-hmm.
was handed down this knowledge, and now I'm helping you or the client heal themselves, because that is what we are here to do.
Mm-hmm.
Is there's nobody saving you, and that's a big part of my teachings, is that I'm not saving anybody, I'm not healing anyone. You are doing it. I'm helping and I'm guiding. So that's like the biggest thing about Reiki, is just you are the healer. As long as you're open to this energy, I'm channeling the energy for you because we're not taught how to do these things. We're not taught about psychic abilities. We're not
Mm-hmm.
taught how to listen to our intuition and our body. So that's
Mm-hmm.
simply all I'm doing. So when I explain it to people, on one hand, people are like, so you're not doing anything. You're
Yeah.
just, this is it. Like you're just, and it seems kind of silly to someone that's not open to this energy and something alternative. It does seem like I'm essentially doing nothing. But if you're tapped in and you're aware and you understand energy and you understand our thoughts create our reality and our unique trauma and things that we go through do actually manifest into physical illness,
Mm-hmm.
then you understand that there's actually so much happening. You
Yeah.
know, shamans and people that do plant medicine will tell you that going to a ceremony is the equivalent of doing 10 years of therapy in one day or night. I
Yeah.
think Reiki is the same thing
Yeah, I do.
without
Yeah.
ingesting or doing plant medicine.
I was taking in what you were saying because I am so in the wave of this. And that was a great way of explaining it because you essentially, what I was getting from all of that, right? And a little like overview of what you just said is you're helping people tap into their own energy. You're helping guide
Yes.
that energy in their body. And that is, you are doing something. You are the guide, right? Like they are not able to do that yet on their own. And you're helping them get to a place where they are able to address their entire being, who they are as a human being, right? And flow that energy the way it wants to flow in their body. So, do you have over the years, do you have a spot in time where you feel like you were doing it more than like there was a heavier area in life, right? Where you were doing Reiki more than you currently are, kind of like dabbling in everything, right? Talk to me about that phase.
For anyone that doesn't know, even how you and I met, it's so interesting. When you and I met, it was like in the height of like my career. We met at a
Mhm.
festival and it was so beautiful. And
It was.
it's such a beautiful thing to be a part of. And so something like that, even in this, I think it was 2 or 3 days, maybe, I can't remember.
Yeah. I think
I,
it
I
was
think I
three.
saw hundreds of people come
Yes.
through. So now not everyone is an empath, and even
Mhm.
healers, not all healers are
Mhm.
empaths. I am a very sensitive empath.
Yeah.
So that is a blessing and a curse.
Mhm.
It's mostly a blessing, but it can be a curse if you don't know how to smudge and clean yourself
Yeah.
and sage yourself. And these are all things that we talk about.
Yeah.
Again, everything is energy, right?
Mhm.
So for me, when we met, I was in like the heyday. I was having clients every day.
Mhm.
I was doing the festivals. I was seeing a lot of people.
Yeah.
And because I'm so sensitive and because I
Mhm.
care and because I deeply care about people's feelings and emotions,
Yeah.
I was taking a lot of that on.
Yeah.
I was warned by
Mhm.
every one of my teachers, my guides, my sages, whatever you want to call it, my shamans. You have to be careful when you
Mhm.
do this type of work. Anybody, if you think about a masseuse, a manicurist, someone that works at a grocery store, and you're working with money, you're touching people's hands,
Mhm.
you're touching things constantly. You you are getting people's energy
Mhm.
on you. And we don't realize that. We don't realize that maybe all of these people that we talk to all day, how come I have anxiety now? I didn't have that earlier in the day. How come
Yeah.
all of a sudden, I've been dating this person and all of a sudden I'm depressed. Is this me? Is this so it's kind of it could be a slippery slope of like figuring out, is this energy someone else's or is this mine?
Yeah.
And because I'm just again very sensitive, a lot of that I took a lot of that on. I took a lot of the
Of course.
energy on, and I had to start giving back to myself.
Mhm.
So it's been in waves,
Yeah.
right? And I always say this because I teach. I
Mhm.
always say to my students, if you have a lot going on in your life, if you're having a bad day, if you're not in a good space, it's not a good idea to have sessions with people
Yeah.
because your energy can leak out. It's the
Mhm.
same with therapists, right? I
Yeah.
have I have my degree in psychology.
Yeah.
Therapists are not perfect. And I hate to say this,
Mhm.
newsflash, they say that therapists are the most fucked up people there are. And
I've
it's
heard that.
because they
Yeah.
understand.
Mhm. Yeah.
So if you're having a bad day and you are trying to be in a healing space with someone, you got to
It's
take that
gonna,
time for
yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
So I've had to cancel sessions, I've had to cancel things because I'm saying I'm not in the right headspace for that.
Yeah.
So, and this is, I think that that's a beautiful thing because it's hard to have that awareness of like, yes, I want to help this person. Yes, I want to help this client, but I need to help myself first.
I think that is a great. I don't want to interrupt you, but I love that you say, and I do want to pause to stop on it because this is like filling the cup, right? And you can't pour into someone else when you, right? But vice
Exactly.
versa, that energy, if you don't understand that exchange is happening, you can be taking on more and filling your cup with things that are not necessarily aligned, right? And then to decipher where that is, what energy that is, the I don't know that it is maturity, right? Of course it's maturity, but it's like the evolution of just you as a woman and to get to that place to understand that, right? To be able to be like, is this my energy or is this not? And I'm taking on too much where I can't listen to my own inner voice, right? Like I can't hear which that is, right? And so to take that step back, I wanted to touch on that because that probably wasn't always how it was though, right? Like talk to me a little bit of the course of the last like 10, 15 years, right? Like where did you start when you got into Reiki and kind of to come to this place, to be able to understand that and say, I need to take a step back. I need to fill my cup. I need to fill my soul, right? And I'm allowed to do whatever that looks like.
Amen.
Yeah,
So
I
my
do.
story, which I talk a lot openly on my platforms,
Hmm.
I suffer from mental health issues. I
Hmm.
always have. It runs in my family. I I struggle with, I think, more anxiety than depression.
Hmm.
Definitely seasonal depression. I have OCD. I used to be suicidal
Hmm.
when I was younger. I did try to take my life. So there's a lot of things, and I think again, from a therapist standpoint, from having a degree, it's like we're so busy trying to label people, and
Yeah.
that almost creates more trauma in itself because then you think that there's something wrong with you. So I always thought there was something wrong with me. I'm like, why
Hmm.
why do I overthink everything? Why he didn't call me back? And everyone's like, get over it. And I'm crying for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So like I was a very emotional, sensitive
Hmm.
child and growing up. And then, again, my circumstances are no different than most people that go through. Parents got divorced, my mother had
Hmm.
cancer, there was a lot of, we moved, I was
Yeah.
getting bullied, there was a lot of things happening.
Hmm.
I was tired of seeing therapists, I was tired of being on medication. I was on medication for anxiety and depression like many people are, and I just like, it felt like a void. Like I almost like it. It's funny, I have my tattoo, in this world, not of it.
Okay.
I've always felt here, but like somewhere else. Like I
Yeah.
never felt like I belonged here. I'm just, why am I so sensitive?
Hmm.
Why? What am I doing here?
Uh,
That's a lot of what we're
hmm.
doing here. Is like we
Yeah.
did actually come here to awaken the masses because the world is in trouble and
Yeah.
like people are sadder, sicker, and lonelier than ever before.
Yeah.
And I know that I came here to help people, to help
Hmm.
myself first. I had to learn
Yeah.
how to help me and then help my brothers and
Hmm.
sisters wake up to, you don't have to always be depressed. You don't have to be a drug addict. You don't have to be an alcoholic.
Yeah.
You don't have to be addicted to porn and shopping. You can feel your feelings. You can feel safe in
Yeah.
your body.
For
So
sure.
Reiki kind of called out to me in that same span, and I fell in love with it. I didn't really understand it at first, but
Hmm.
I'm like, I knew I left feeling relaxed and I felt calm. I wasn't having panic attacks. And I'm
Hmm.
like, okay, whatever this is, I need more of it.
There's something
So
here. Yeah.
that's
Like
when I
this is.
dove in, like head on to Reiki. I was like, whatever this is, I like what I'm feeling. This feels super aligned. And then honestly, COVID hit and it was perfect because no one was really doing
Okay.
anything.
Hmm.
And I used that time, that span of COVID, to literally get all of my certifications, which, if
Yeah.
people don't know, Reiki training is about 3 to 4 different trainings,
Hmm.
depending on if whether you're going to be a master or a
Yep.
master teacher. And it was just in such alignment, the way that that all flowed for me, that I knew it was my calling.
It's connecting to yourself and the fact that you were interested in it without really necessarily understanding it at first, right? you listen to your body though. How does it actually make me feel in my body? That makes you curious even more for it. And I'm like saying all this because that is what we want more people to see too, right? Like you're the guide and the facilitator, but like I want you to almost have the same, right? Like a same, if you will, not the same experience, obviously, but to feel in your body, to feel connected to your body. And like it is a healing practice, right? Do you feel like in your training when you were learning that you almost took like pauses, or did you kind of consistently like it? I know you said the momentum of life, right? It kind of happened and you got to build, but did you feel like you ebbed and flowed through that training where you almost like were integrating kind of step by step, or it was like you were just life was life and you were integrating as you flowed?
That's a great question. So this actually leads me into something super important. When it comes to Reiki training or really any, I would say maybe not any, but I would say most holistic modalities, same with plant medicine.
Mm-hmm.
There's something called an integration process or
Yeah.
period. We call it, I don't love this term because it sounds really, we call it a healing crisis.
Mm-hmm.
Now, don't let that scare you, but when you get these trainings, when you get this knowledge, when you get this wisdom, because it is downloaded from a higher power, there is a integration period
Yeah.
that your body needs to go through to integrate
Yeah.
everything that you just learned.
Mm-hmm.
To we call it, so at the end of the trainings to get your certification for Reiki,
Mm-hmm.
it's something called an attunement process.
Okay.
Now that means a master needs to actually place their hands on you and transfer the knowledge and the energy from our
Yeah.
leaders
Uh-huh.
down into you. You feel it. You feel
Yeah.
it all. Like you actually
Mm-hmm.
feel it. And
Yeah.
so no, so we teach that during the Reiki training,
Mm-hmm.
we actually would like 4 to 6 weeks in
Yeah.
between certifications to really
Yeah.
hone in to a practice everything that you're
Mm-hmm.
learning, practice on yourself, practice on
Yeah.
your pets, practice on your food, practice on your family,
Mm-hmm.
and to really take in that knowledge and not rush. And
Yes.
I think that's the problem today too, is we're in like a rush hustle
Mm-hmm.
culture, especially in America. And this is the problem too that's happening now with plant medicine and psychedelics, which is also a whole other podcast,
Yeah.
is that everyone's flocking now to do these ayahuasca retreats and peyote and the bufo and the kambo
Mm-hmm.
and the mushrooms,
Yeah.
but no one's integrating.
Yeah.
And they're going
Mm-hmm.
back into the world the next day when they've had this explosive experience, the 10 years of therapy,
Yeah.
and then you want to go back into your normal day and it's like your whole world comes crashing down. So it's the same thing with Reiki, and that's why like I compare plant medicine and Reiki so much, because what you're feeling is essentially the same.
Yeah.
Again, you're just not ingesting anything
Uh-huh.
to
It's not a
have.
substance to
You
get
could
that
still have
experience.
psychedelic visions, you're
Yep.
just not taking something. But that's why I compare it so much.
No, I think it's a
So it
great
really is the
comparison.
same thing, that you do need that integration time. And I've had this happen with my students where they're scared. They're like, Melissa,
Mm-hmm.
I'm having crazy dreams. I'm seeing stuff, and I'm like, this is
Mm-hmm.
your psychic abilities were
Yeah.
always there, and now you're attuned to them. You're
Yeah.
now aware of
Mm-hmm.
them, and that could be scary for some people. And some
Yeah.
people aren't. They're not ready to see
Mm-hmm.
that we really only see 1% of our reality on a daily basis.
Oh, totally.
Unless you're meditating, sleeping, or under the state of a psychedelic, that's all. We're basically walking around pretty much like zombies most
Yeah.
of the time.
No, it's so true. It's so true. We are not even aware that there is so much more that we could be aware of. And that is, again, that's practice. Like you just said, you
Yeah.
get more aware, and sometimes that doesn't ever leave you, right? You don't forget it almost, if you will. Like you just always kind of remembered. But for a lot of us, that's where the awake asleep kind of comes in, right? Because it's like
Yeah.
it's it is such a great translation. I almost hate it because it has become such a taboo like way of saying that, right? Like I don't want to say it like that, but even when I'm working with clients and they start to realize something, right? I do a lot of somatics, so mind body connection is the staple of everything. And I'll be talking about these two fingers and how they're relating to your cervicals up here. And all of a sudden, when you bring your awareness, right? Like I'm just giving you an example here, but all of a sudden you bring that awareness all of a sudden you realize you're living, you're wondering why you're kind of stuck here and what we're trying to work through. But it really is that integration piece, because now if you come back next week and I don't give you anything to practice over the next, you get what I'm saying, week that to do, you're going to come back and have not, your awareness is gone from it for a whole another week. But if I give you something to practice, it's step by step. It builds, like you integrate it over time. It's not going to come tomorrow. Like you're not going to just remember it, because some of my clients are older, right? So I tell them, you've had 50 years, you forgot this. So you can't think now, right? Now everything is a little more not harder, but you just have to take your time. You have to take a little bit more time as you age. You got to do things a little bit more concentration, a little more focus, right? And so it's like, you forgot for 50 years on top of that. Now it's like, we just got to slow, but when they do slow it down, and it's like, it doesn't mean stop. That's the thing too. That doesn't mean that it's a complete halt to the floor. Like there's still life in you. You know what I mean? It's a pause. It's more of a pause and just being able to just be here. Right. But I think that's so great how you were saying that and how we just like tied that together, because I think it's huge for people to be able to do that. Right. Like it's so,
Amen.
yeah, it's so
Amen.
powerful. It's so powerful. I want to touch, as you get in, you say like the integration piece here, right? There's so many other things
Yes.
you're doing in your life at this time. So I do want to know about how your practices with Reiki and learning all of this also tied in with like yoga and meditation. Were you doing that before you kind of came to Reiki, or did they all come together for you?
So it's really interesting because I think I was doing it before, living in Miami, which people don't know, but living in Miami,
Mhm.
there is a lot, everybody does yoga and everybody
Yeah.
has acai bowls.
Hmm.
I think I was doing it because it was trendy, but I wasn't really understanding it, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Because
I do.
again, and this is said with no shame, I really feel there was, as you were just explaining with the older clients, there was a big portion of my life that, to be honest with you, as sad as it sounds, I don't really remember. I
It's
feel
so
like I
real.
really was kind of on autopilot and zombie mode and just doing what everyone else was doing, which is much of the world is we're just following people and we're
Yeah.
just, that's trendy, that's a fad.
Hmm.
So I had already been doing yoga. I've always worked out. My mom was a bodybuilder and personal trainer for over
Cool.
20 years.
All right.
So
Yay.
like working out is ingrained in me, but I was definitely doing all that, but I don't think I really like understood deeply the effects of it until
Yeah.
I started having one of my spiritual awakenings, because everyone thinks you have like one. No, you have multiple
Yeah.
spiritual awakenings, and every time you upgrade, and we have these dark nights of the soul, which are
Uh-huh.
crazy, intense spiritual awakenings, and everything feels like it's dying and crashing.
Yep.
So I think until I really had that happen to me, I don't think I was doing everything, but not really understanding it, if that makes sense.
I
It
do.
was
Yeah.
like I needed that like aha moment,
Hmm.
which unfortunately for me and like most people, it came from being in a place of pain. It
Yeah.
came from built up years of pain and emotion and trauma, and took me to a very, very low point in my life where, again, I started having this suicidal
Hmm.
ideation come up where I'm like, I'm just too sensitive. I don't want to be here. I don't
Yeah.
I don't get it. Like why am I here? I'm
Like, what
so
is purpose?
unhappy.
Yeah.
I'm so miserable. I'm sick all the time. I was
Hmm.
not only mentally sick, I was physically ill. Like
Okay. Yeah.
I would have cold and
Yeah.
strep and mono
Your
and
body.
rashes
Yeah.
and all these unexplained illnesses, which of
Uh-huh.
course now
You
I
see. Yeah.
understand.
Yeah. Yeah. But at
We
the time you
understand.
couldn't. At the time it's just happening in real time. Like, yeah, absolutely. Yes.
So I just don't think I think, I was doing everything. But there's a quote, I don't there like you could be drinking water and meditating, doing yoga and acai and the sound bowls. You could be doing it all, but if your thoughts are
Yeah.
not good, there's no point in doing it.
Yeah.
Because if you go into the workout and you're like, "Ugh, I don't want to do this. This sucks. I can't." Well, then your body is not going to change. So it's the
Yeah.
same thing. It's like you could do everything right, but like you said earlier, that's the mind body connection of
Yes.
like if you wake up
If
and you're
you,
like,
yeah.
it's going to be an awful day, then you know what? Everything that day, watch, it's probably going to be
It's going to
awful.
be no
But
matter
if you
what.
can
Yes.
learn how to like manage your mind and your emotions
Hmm.
and what things are happening to you, I think that's the biggest part is like that, like you said, that
Yeah.
mind body connection. And when that flipped for me, and I had this spiritual awakening, and I
Mm-hmm.
did ayahuasca for the first time, and I did, which I did, I actually did die.
Yeah.
They could not revive me. I
Okay.
fell into the
Okay.
dirt, and
Wow. Yeah.
I don't know how long I was out, but all I know is, and it sounds so freaking cheesy, but I literally woke up in the dirt, and I looked up, and the shaman was above me
Yeah.
smiling. And I had
Mm.
felt like I had gotten reborn. Like
Yeah.
it truly, I
Yeah.
can't
Of course.
explain it.
Yeah.
I went
It went
somewhere
off.
else.
Yeah.
I went into
Uh-huh.
a void.
Yeah.
I don't remember. And I just took a look at myself, and I said, you know what? This is nobody's fault.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my fault what happened to me, but it's my fault if I continue to be this way.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I try to teach people. And
Uh,
again, I'm not
yeah.
perfect. I do it all the time where
We're
I'm like,
human.
my love life isn't working out.
Yeah.
Poor me. And then I
Yeah.
snap out of it,
Yeah.
like, and then I'm like, okay, God's saving me. Thank you,
Right.
God.
But it's that awareness again. It's the ownership of your choices. I love that you said it because very so in tune, so in line, very much how I like to live my life, right? Is it's like, hold on. There's not that I did anything right or wrong. Like you got to take almost that good and bad away from it, right? And it's just like these were the choices that were made and these were the outcomes from those choices. And if I don't want to feel in that vibration, right? I don't want to be in that low energy and feel that way, then I can't control anyone else either, right? So the only thing that I can control is myself. Then I have to make those choices. And that's where I feel like the test is. And we're always evolving. And there's always a new dark night of the soul, right? At some
Yes.
point in time, because you learn those things, right? You go through the challenge and it's not easy. It's not easy. You got to dig through some dirt here to get to up that mountain, But then you get to the top of the mountain and now you're gazing, but now all of a sudden a day turned into a week and turned to a month, right? And then time turned into all this and you forgot that you just climbed up that mountain. And so you made some choices, right? Because it's almost being asleep again, right? Like you're just in this now like mountaintop view, but that doesn't mean that there's not something on the horizon you can climb again and we just keep evolving. But the awareness is the key. It is very, and that's
Awareness.
practice. That is something I also learned
I
with
think you said
time.
it, yeah, spot on. I think having, which again is that third eye,
Mm-hmm.
is like everyone, third eyes are in, and everybody wears the eye, and they don't understand the meaning. That's literally
Yeah.
what it is.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times it's interesting if I go out into, I'm in the nightlife still. I
Yeah.
go to raves, and a lot of these environments can be very heavy and very dark. And we
Mhm.
talked about this as well. A lot of times I'll wear a bindi, and people are so confused and like, are you Indian? Why are you wearing that?
Yeah.
What? And I said, do you know what this symbolizes? It symbolizes awareness. I don't have to be Indian. It helps
Like, yeah,
me
it
remain
helps
in my
me. Yeah.
awareness in an environment
Absolutely.
that people are drinking, they're on drugs, there's a lot of darkness.
Yeah.
It helps me remember to stay in my
Taste, yeah,
awareness
center to you.
in
Yeah.
that sometimes darker space, but also you can have fun in those spaces. It's like we said, everything is awareness.
Yes, it is.
Everything that
Absolutely.
we're doing here is our awareness of what's happening.
I think that's also a powerful thing that you do to do that because that's your protection. That is your way of protection, right? And it's also I feel like just your own higher self being in a protective mode, right? Where you're still a human being and allowed to go have fun. So why does someone else's energy have to ruin that vibe, right? I also like this music. I also want to go do those things, right? Like, of course, I love that. And again, very much same, have been going, you know what I mean, have gone out and stuff and could sense it. You can feel it. You can feel it immediately. And where I say, like, I love that you do this is because I'm also someone that likes to keep my center. Like, I'm always going to make sure I'm aware. I'm always aware, of just everything going on, right? And I think for you to just be so open about that and just say, like, hey, like, I'm going to do me and I'm going to have fun. But, like, I'm also aware, I think it just 10 toes down. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I am still grounded on this earth, no matter where I go off into space. Do you get what I'm saying? And it's like, yeah, I got me. Like, it shows so much love for yourself is what I feel from that energy. Like, I really do. That's what I'm getting from all of that. But I think it's super cool that you do that. And it brings it back to how you know how to protect yourself in other areas. This is something else you like to do where it's like, that's a vibe for you. That's your like healing to go dance and do all that, right? But you're still doing the work. Like, even though you're not working hands-on with other people, right? Like, those are the life lessons that you're learning, not from a textbook. You're just in it, right? And that is where some of that integration can happen too, is when you actually get the life experiences. And so I like that you're saying with your clients, like you try to get them the same type of way, like where they have to like, it's one foot in front of the other. You're going to climb up the mountain, but like once you're here, you got to still be aware of what is going on. You still have to make choices, and you have to take accountability for those choices. That's what I got, out of all of it, is like the accountability that you
Absolutely.
take over your life.
And there's been like, now that I'm like, I don't want to say a little older, but now that I've like been doing this for a few like years, it's so interesting to me because I'm the type of person, I used to want to help everybody, and I used to get so excited when anyone would want a session,
Hmm.
when anybody would want to be trained. And now I'm very, very careful,
Yeah.
not just for me, but just like, my intuition is so strong that I instantly know if I want to work with someone or not.
Yeah.
Like, whether that's a session or teaching. And there was a time where I feel like I was certifying people. I was so excited, everybody,
Hmm.
and I made a few mistakes. And
Yeah.
there even was there was a student of mine, which I'm no names. I never name names, but I physically said to them, I don't think you're ready to go on to the next level. I really
Hmm.
hope you take this with the purest love and intention.
Yeah.
I think we need more integration. I think there's some things that you need to. And they were so upset, and they, wrote me off. And guess what? They went and got certified with somebody else. And you know what?
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that, because this wisdom is so divine, and it's really interesting, because if you study Reiki, you'll see that the very first few people that actually got certified, the certification process was about $20,000 to get
Oh yeah.
certified,
I believe it.
because they didn't want everybody having
You
this
don't.
knowledge.
Yes.
The
Yes.
symbols were hidden for so many years, that like, because we have symbols that
Yeah.
enhance and
Uh-huh.
intensify our situations, our with the clients, to protect us.
Yes.
They're so sacred that people didn't know them. They weren't allowed to be written down. So
Hmm.
like, there's so many sacred things that, I can't shame myself, but at looking back, this actually isn't for everybody.
Yeah.
Sessions aren't for everyone, and neither are the teachings. I think
Yes.
people should learn how to be in tune and be aware.
Hmm.
But I do think Reiki takes a level of awareness and empathy and emotion and compassion,
Yeah.
that, no, I don't think everyone should be certified. Everyone is teachable. I say
Yeah.
anyone can learn Reiki.
Yeah.
There's no there You don't need to be psychic. There's no special abilities that you need to have.
Yes.
But I don't think it's for everyone, now that I'm this far into
Hmm.
my practice. And even now, I'm very, very careful with sessions that I have with people. If I feel like it just doesn't align with me and my energy, I'll refer them to somebody else.
Yeah.
And you know what? I used to feel bad, and I don't, because I'm learning boundaries. And that's one of my things that I've
Hmm.
struggled with, is the people pleaser,
Yeah.
not feeling worthy unless everyone else is happy. And I'm very aware of that.
Yeah. Hmm.
So it's uncomfortable,
Yeah.
because when someone
Right.
says, "Oh, I want a session," and I say, "Oh, I'm so sorry,"
Hmm.
so it hurts me.
Yeah.
But I know in the end that I have to trust God. I have to trust my intuition, and everyone's going to get exactly the healing that they need. I know
Yeah.
there are no mistakes. So even if I turn
Right.
somebody down, or if I say no, it's for a divine purpose.
Yeah, there's for a reason. There's a reason. You just said all of this, and I do want to dive into this. It is for such a deeper purpose. And I think this is the side that a lot of people don't talk about, for one, what you're
Yeah.
talking about, and working through that uncomfortability and being a people pleaser, because I think this is self-growth, being an entrepreneur, being, you know what I'm saying? Having your own business, your own practice, being you, and just standing into the world. It's so much growth, right? And so to be able to work through those things in real time and make the heart rate there is a choice that in the past you probably would have just people pleased, whatever. Do you get what I'm saying? Gave the certifications. You did do that. You did do that, right? And so, but it wasn't for forever. And this is where, right, we were still young. We're still, there, and it doesn't matter where you're at in the lifespan here. The point is, you always have the chance to be better and to make a better choice. And the deeper purpose there is, and something I love to say, and where I maybe become a nurse, is do no harm. And so, now that you know the knowledge, and you know that divine wisdom, and you know like the deepest, most truths of Reiki, right? You understand that it's not something to be played with. And it's not something that just anyone willy-nilly, no different than how I see a nursing right with operating room. I'm not going to just suggest any surgeon, because there are surgeons that do a very good job and they want right. And there are other ones, they're cutting the check. They don't care. They're out at 3. We're getting these done. I got to get 10 cases in by this time. Like, where, the humanity behind it, like do no harm to someone. But at the end of the day, you're the only one who gets to make the choice. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, you're the only one, and that is like, not, there's no good or bad, but like your moral compass. Do you get what I'm saying? That's growth. It's making the hard choices that, like, I don't want them to view me in a different way, right? Like, I want to talk about how hard those choices are, though. Like, it doesn't have to necessarily be this time, right, with certifying people, but like, are there other things that come to mind where you've kind of had to overcome this, but you knew after it that it was the right decision? Like, no matter, even though it was a tough choice, like, you knew so in your heart and soul, right, that like, I did the right thing no matter what, right? Like, is there anything that comes to mind for you?
Um, off the top of my head, no, but that's because I think I've had
So
so many
many. Yeah.
experiences like that.
Mm-hmm.
Truly, like
Yeah. No, I believe it.
I feel like I've lived so many different lives in this experience.
Yeah.
So yes, of
Mm-hmm.
course, I think, but I think it gets easier, right? Maybe, actually, yeah. You know what? Now that, see, I get
Yeah. I'm like,
downloads.
give me a
Now
second.
that I'm
Yeah.
thinking about it, for instance, let's use, I haven't had alcohol in almost 8 years.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll use that as a great, because I saw someone post something the other day too, and it's like, our society, everything is, alcohol has been pushed for the longest time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I personally have never liked alcohol ever. I
Yeah.
never liked it.
Yeah.
Not even when I was in college. I had alcohol poisoning like 8 times.
Oh, yeah.
I would have one drink and be blacked out. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
not I'm not here like, oh my God,
No, I
alcohol is
get,
the
yeah.
devil.
No,
Don't, for
you're allowed to
me,
have your
it was
food. Yeah.
horrible. And I
Yeah.
just kept ignoring my intuition,
Mm-hmm.
ignoring for a year and year and year.
Yeah.
And everyone now is like, oh my God, were you like an addict? I'm like, no, I
No.
just
Yeah.
hate alcohol. I hate what it does to me. They're like, are you recovering? I'm like, no.
I'm only laughing because I don't really drink anymore. I'll have occasionally, and I get the same thing. Like, I've had a couple people and I'm like, there's nothing wrong if someone is, but I'm just like, no, I'm not. Just because I choose not to doesn't mean that I had a problem with it either. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't that's sad to show you the society of what, like, how prevalent drinking is, that people ask you if there's something wrong or you're pregnant or you have a
Right.
problem. It's like,
Yeah.
no, I just don't like it. Some people like pizza, some people like burgers. I just don't
Mm-hmm.
like it.
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
don't like
Yeah.
I
It's
don't
like,
like how it
yeah.
tastes. I don't like how it smells. I don't like how it makes me feel. And to be honest with you, again, this is a safe space. I've
Yeah.
done a lot of questionable things in my
Mm-hmm.
life. I've
Yeah.
done a lot of drugs. I've
Mm-hmm.
partied. I would be willing to say that alcohol is one of the worst drugs on the planet.
Agreed. Yeah.
It kills more people a year than suicide
Yeah.
from drunk drivers and alcohol
Mm-hmm.
poisoning and death.
Yeah.
So something like that, it took me so long though.
Mm-hmm.
I remember getting the ping inside my body that was like when you would be offered a drink, and
Yeah.
I had like, oh, I don't want to drink. And then I'm gonna drink, and then I know I'm gonna need the white stuff after to
Yep.
combat it. So there was years where I was like done with it,
Yeah.
but I couldn't bring myself to be done with it because I was so scared of not fitting in and
Yeah.
not, well, I'm going to be weird. I can't go to bars. I can't go to clubs. I can't go to a football game. Everything was around drinking.
Yeah. Like all the social
So
activities were, yeah.
there were years where I
Mm-hmm.
just kept getting, and I knew in my spirit, it was the voice was screaming, don't drink it. Just say no. And I couldn't.
Yeah.
And I had a dark night of the soul, if you will, a spiritual awakening.
Mm-hmm.
I had a very, very powerful awakening. And I was drinking and I was doing the
Mm-hmm.
white stuff that
Yeah.
people do when they drink.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I laid in bed all night having a panic attack, wanting to die.
Yeah.
I hated myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I said,
Mm.
I never want to feel this way again.
Yeah.
And I woke up in the morning and I did Reiki on myself for about 2 hours. And I was with other people and I said, no one talked to me.
Just let me be to myself. Yeah. You know how to heal that body. Yes.
Nobody talked to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so profound. And guess what? I never touched any of that again. And that was almost 8 years ago. And I just look back and I'm like, wow, this poor girl, I was just trying to fit in. And I just, for my boyfriends and my friends, and
Yeah.
we live in a generation where it's very normal to do those things. I
Yeah,
mean, it's
yeah, it
very
is. Of
prevalent.
course it is. Yeah.
So I just everything in my body was like, you're done. And again, the first few months after that, it was hard when people were like, why aren't you drinking? You don't want to drink.
Yeah.
And eventually, and it's like now it's funny because all my
You're
friends
just
and
like,
family,
whatever.
everybody
Yeah.
knows. No one
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
knows.
Yeah.
They don't. I'll
It's
I'll
not even a
mess
thing.
around with
Yeah.
people just to get them a good laugh,
Uh-huh.
and I'll take a little drink and I'll take a sip, and then oh my god,
What's
she's
she
drinking.
doing? Yeah.
What's happening? I was like, it's not that I can't. I don't
You
want
just
to.
choose not
So I'll
to.
take a
Yeah.
sip
Hmm.
just to show them that I'm in control. I can do it. I don't want to. I
Yeah.
choose not to.
For
And that's
sure.
why I have not had a drink in 8 years.
Uh-huh.
So I think that's probably the best thing that I can think of that just like, and I look back and I'm like, wow, I wanted to stop doing that 2 years prior, but I
Yeah.
couldn't.
Before
I
that.
couldn't say no.
I think this is a huge I love everything, right? But I love that you say this because what it screams to me is courage to love yourself. It screams to me because we live in such a society where everything is outside of us. It's all outside of us. Everything we need is it's never us. You know what I mean? No one is taught besides us. And people, you know what I'm saying? Like where we're here and we try to spread this message, but everything that's glorified is all outside of us. And so even in those moments, the 2 years prior when you had been thinking about it, there was something in you that was calling you to love on yourself, right? Like just how you already knew that like that's your higher self, right? Your future self calling to you almost, if you will. Like you're going to feel better eventually, sister. Like it's going to be there. And then to go that 2 years though, but even right here is where I think that's where people need to hear the time. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
2 years is so real, like real life transition. If you are the person today and you are going to be a completely different person, everyone that meets you is like, who are you? You are, and that's okay, right? That's okay because you're being you. But like that real process, I feel like where I've seen it in so many clients, myself, everyone, right? It's a good 2 years. A year and a half, maybe, if you're doing like every day, do you get what I'm saying? It's nonstop all the time and there's no timeline to it. But I have rarely seen someone have that evolution and that growth of that dark night of that soul where they really are a whole different person on the other side of that, right? Like there's no more even the little twinges of something coming up in their thoughts. Do you get what I'm saying? Like they have overcame that mountain for real. They're onto a new mountain, right? Like that mountain doesn't even exist anymore type of thing. I do feel like it genuinely is like a 2 year period. And so here is where my point is like, there's always an opportunity to do the work. Like it doesn't matter how you're like, you can live your life. We're all humans. We all have no one's perfect, right? It comes back to that humanism. But the point still is like, you were still kind of riding that train. And eventually 2 years later, you did decide like, hey, but you had to meet a moment. Do you get what I'm saying? That's where that dark night of the soul is almost where you're not listening to your own intuition is where, when it smacks you because you've been trying to say hey to yourself for so long, right? That it's like, if you're not going to listen to me any other way, I'm going to show you. And then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, that's me. Like this is me looking in the mirror now at myself. But
I think I always say that like the voice will get louder and louder and louder till eventually you're forced
you
to
cannot
listen
ignore
to
it. Yes.
So, and like you said, I like that you use that term because I always say that. Sometimes when I'm like in my head too much or I'm going through one of those phases where I'm like, poor me, I'm like, maybe I just need to get smacked in the face with some ayahuasca. Maybe that'll help me.
Just like wake up. But yeah, like it is so real though. Like you're just like, what is that thing that's just gonna slap me like, hello, wake up out of here? And it's like, yeah. And right there is the awareness too, where we're always on this journey and we're just humans though, right? Like it doesn't have to always be like, sometimes maybe that's God saying it doesn't need to be in this moment right now, right? Like maybe that's just not the time. And also maybe some little tiny experiences. It doesn't have to be the big experience, right? But those little tiny ones are also part of the lesson that you needed to learn. And so you do have, it does hit that eventually where the needle pops the balloon, right? But like you've just been grazing the surface and all these little experiences picking up all that energy till it pops it, right? If that makes sense. And so I feel like when we go through these phases, the biggest point is that like, there's no timeline. There's no timeline and it happens when it's meant to happen. And that's also the most beautiful and exciting part about life and doing, stepping into any type of holistic practice for yourself, even to explore it. If you don't even understand it yet, right? just to even start doing it, because eventually, like, it will make sense, whether it's a year from now, it's 5 years from now, you're 75 and all of a sudden something in your life happens and you're like, I think the deepest ocean, you have to think about it. Anything that's going even that deep, you can only help someone as deep as you gone yourself, right? And so it's like, if you haven't
Yeah.
gone that deep with yourself, that's not fair for someone who does want to take themselves that deep. And that's where you're never force anyone, right? But like, you also don't want to go put practitioners out in the world that are going to be doing this work on someone who does need that. And now they turn away from Reiki completely because someone has kind of I don't want to, like, again, I don't want the harshness in this, right? But ruin their taste of what it is, ruin their taste of what that medicine is, because it
Absolutely.
wasn't given the way that it was intended, like the intentionality of it, right? And so
Mhm.
I want to touch this because that is something that you practice, you practice it actively. Like, you are in every step that you've taken. And just from what, how we know each other and all of this, I see you and I hear what you're saying in your stories is that, like, you want to do right. And that's why you're in service now still too. And you have Mel's Mystic and you have, yeah. But it's like, you finally found that balance. And it's like, it takes time though. That's a whole point of connecting the thoughts, right? Is like the stresses we face, the pivots we had to make in our life and how they served us to get to here now. But it's like, I love this conversation because the deeper layer that those stressors are going to come back. They might not be the same stressor. There's going to be a different stressor and I might have to pivot, but it's like those life experiences that I had have made me all the better for it. And I want to help guide other people through that. Right. So I want to talk. Yeah. I'm like, I want to talk about, like, in this current moment, how are you serving clients? Do you have clients right now that you're kind of doing? Are you more with like your website right now? Or are you dabbling into the modeling side? Like, where are you kind of servicing your community right now? How does that look like for you?
Awesome. So I think because I was in one of these transitional phases in my life, I moved in with my dad and my
Hmm.
stepmom, which is a first for me. I was living in Miami, with a roommate, and this is such a change for me.
Yeah.
And like any other human, we have an ego and we don't like change, and
Yeah.
change is scary, and blah, 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 blah. And, it's just trusting the divine timing of everything.
Yeah.
It's definitely transformed right now where I'm not really doing sessions. I think I've done maybe like one or two since I've lived here.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm really honing in on teaching because I'm in that space right now where I'm actually enjoying teaching more and
Yeah.
certifying more. So I'm still currently teaching. But yeah, I've really been honing in on other things. Like
Yeah.
I was studying Kabbalah, and I studied Kabbalah, and then I became a psychedelic integration coach. And
Yeah.
next, I'm going to get a couple other certifications that have been pinging me. But I'm also like, for instance, I've been wanting to do, which I know you know this, but
Yep.
for people that don't know, EFT is the emotional freedom
Hmm.
technique,
Yeah.
which is basically tapping on the pulse points to release trauma.
Yes.
But I couldn't find a good practitioner. I'm
Like,
like,
where to
how do I
actually
need to
get,
find someone
yeah.
to teach me?
Uh-huh.
And I reached out to so many people, and like, oh yeah, I'm not really certified. I just do it. I'm like, is anybody certified?
Right. Yeah.
So those are one of those things that, like, it has to feel aligned. Like, even with
Hmm.
Kabbalah, like, it felt so aligned.
Yeah.
I am Jewish, so Kabbalah is kind of in, my religion
Uh-huh.
already. My mom studied Kabbalah, my stepmom, but it just called to me. And the
Yes.
teacher literally reached out to me on social media and was like, hey, are you taking my course? I'm like, no, should I?
Yeah. Like, should I be
so
doing this? Yeah. Yeah. Right. No,
so
for sure.
it's definitely about alignment, and like, not, I'm a Capricorn, I'm type A personality. I'm go, 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 go.
Hmm.
Thank God I do have the grounding side, but because I have this hustle mentality,
Oh, I get it. I'm a
I'm
Cap
like, okay,
rising. Yep.
next, 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 next.
Yes.
I never
So
even like
resonate.
reveling in, and I have a problem with this, that like I do something really cool, like a big podcast, or I
Mm.
come out on a magazine cover, and then I'm like, okay, next.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
scary because I'm
Yeah.
never even like clapping for myself.
Oh, I see you so much in that moment. Yeah. Absolutely see you
My sister.
so much.
And
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess that probably also, full awareness comes as a trauma response of like
Yeah.
not feeling like I'm enough.
Hmm.
So I feel like if I keep getting these things and these certificates, so I'm a very go-getter person. So
Yeah.
that being
For sure.
said, right now I'm still currently full-time modeling. I'm
Yeah.
doing lots of podcasts. I just put out a new song because I'm also a
Ooh.
musician. I'm a singer and songwriter.
Beauty. What's it
And
called? I'm like,
then,
how did I not know
yeah,
this? What is it called?
it's called Codes.
Ah,
Like the codes, like actual
Yeah, like
codes of what
codes.
they were.
Yeah. Oh, beauty. I'll definitely gonna listen after this. That's so exciting. Oh my
I know,
God.
see, like people don't know because I'm always doing something different.
You're doing something different, but that's what makes you you. Like you are your brand. You know what I mean? Like you are. And also, all of these things have served you. I think that is the biggest piece of it that I love so much about just everything that you have going on, right? Is that it's like, you shine all of them. And I love that Capricorn go getter. I'm like, I got a little rising in there. So I get what you mean about like next, because that is also practice for you. That's one of your,
Yeah.
that's like it's something you work with that you're going to work with your whole life, right? Is being in that present moment and like giving yourself that love and like appreciation, and all of that, because you do know that you can achieve it too. That's the other part of you that it's like, you're going to get it. So once you do it and you like, you conquer the goal or whatever it is, you're ready for next because again, I'm not going to sit in the box. I'm not going to be labeled as one thing. Let's be all the things. Like, let's do all of it. And it's
Exactly.
that I
But yeah,
think is so
I'm
freeing.
learning. Like I'm learning to slow down. It's okay to have the pamper days, the quiet days, and like in this time frame, it's been I think it's like 8 or 9 months. What you've been referencing for people that don't know is like yeah, I've been working behind the scenes on
Hmm.
my newest site called Mel's Mystics, and it's growing, so I don't want to give too much juicy info. I gave you all the juicy info of where I see it in the
Yeah.
future. But essentially, it's basically just going to be a space and a hub where people can come and talk everything metaphysical,
Yeah.
whether that's crystals and
Yeah.
essential oils, or plant medicine, or Reiki, or somatics,
Yeah.
all of these things. And because again, it's trends, right?
Yeah,
Everyone's
for
like,
sure. No,
oh,
I get what you mean.
astrology, oh, this, and I want it to be a space where people can come and interact and ask questions and get knowledge.
Yeah.
And yeah, eventually I see it as being like a full subscription based platform, where people can get all of this knowledge and almost do interactive things as if
Yeah.
I was doing sessions
Hmm.
or doing a plant medicine. A lot of people are afraid of Reiki or plant medicine
Yeah.
or essential oils because again, it's still we don't what is
Right.
that? I
Yeah.
don't
What is it? Yeah.
what's gonna happen. So I want them to see what it's gonna be like to maybe help ease
Yes.
that tension, and so then maybe they're
Absolutely.
ready for an in-person session.
Then they'll
So yeah, it's
it's
really
opening the door.
exciting.
Yeah.
I send out newsletters every week with just a mantra or meditation,
Yeah.
also a little info on essential oils and crystals and
Hmm.
things for people that are curious of what they can do with them, how they can relax naturally,
Yeah.
because that is my mission. And you and I connected, which is so beautiful because I know this is your mission too. It's like combining the Eastern and Western world. And like,
Yeah.
there is no problem with doctors and nurses and PAs. And we need all of that. We need medicine,
Yeah.
but we need more of the holistic side
Both
too. We
sides.
need
Yeah.
more of coming together because a lot of the things that people suffer with,
Hmm.
you and I know this, are deeply on an energetic level. They
Hmm.
don't need these prescription pills, they don't
Yeah.
need all this stuff.
Yeah.
If they would just change their diet, maybe, or if they just went outside in nature a little more, they wouldn't be so anxious and depressed.
Yeah.
So it's like really
Hmm.
about combining like the worlds.
The
And
whole.
I'm not a medical professional. It says it right on the bottom.
Yeah.
Like,
Huh?
if you have,
That's not what
I'm
you're
not here
pitching
to
yourself as.
heal
Yeah.
you or give you doctor advice. I'm just here to give my knowledge of over 10 years now of what I've done that helps
Yeah.
me and what I've seen helps others. And so you don't have to take pills the rest of your life.
Yeah. You are such a great, like, you are, like, you're so wonderful and so awesome. I'm so glad that I brought you on here because, like, you, sir, like, you really are giving what the purpose of this app and why I kept bringing up Mel's Mystics. I know it's going to evolve. It's still, like, it is, and it's, like, you know what I mean? Level 1, 2, 3, 4 for Reiki, right? I know it has so much to evolve to, but you have also done so many wonderful things with it. And what I just feel like it speaks volume to is, like, you learned all of the things that you were teaching on it, right? Like, and you didn't just learn it from the textbook though. These practices all helped you in their own way. And you want other people to be able to have that too. Like, that is the service. And like, someone said this a couple of months ago now, but like, I loved it, and it's stuck with me ever since, and we're all just walking each other home. Like, we are
Oof,
all here to
wrong
serve each other.
doc, wrong doc,
Yeah.
baby.
Like, we're all here to serve each other, and it's like you've served yourself so powerfully and so beautifully, and you continue to, and you want others to have that. So it's like, yes, you are doing the healing in your own way. Like, let's not discredit you and what you are helping with. Do you get what I'm saying? But also, at the end of the day, you and I know, just like everything else, all those people that have helped you along the way, at the end of the day, it was you that did it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
yes, they served you, they supported you, they helped you fill that cup, right? But like at the end of the day, you held the cup in your hand with the water. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it was you doing the actual work of it. And I think that speaks volumes, and just that, what is the greatest gift we could give to anyone besides wanting them to rise up, right? And it's like you've had to rise from your own ashes, your own turmoils, your own things that life has served you, and your own, your own walk, your own being. Everyone has that, though, that, and everyone is human, and they all have their own thing that they've had to work through, right? And it's like, for you to show up, for you to be like, hey, I have done these things. I believe in them because like, I've actually learned about them now too. I didn't just do it and feel it, right? Like, you've done all the layers of the integrating and stuff. And that's where also you respect everyone's choices, and the work can be as deep as they want it to be, or it doesn't have to
yeah,
be, but you are giving them a place, a portal, a space, right? To be able to dive into that, to be able to do those things and like start their own healing and just relief, like feeling good in their bodies. And so thank you. Thank you for sharing all of it. Thank you
thank
for
you so
being
much.
here. I'm like, I would love for you to tell listeners, for the listener listening to this right now, where can they find you? Where would be the best places to find you on platform, social media, website, anywhere?
Awesome. Okay, so because there's so many fake me's, but
Yeah.
usually on everything it's Melissa Lori. Instagram is Melissa Lori. I have like three different Facebooks, Melissa Lori. Obviously, my new website, Mel's Mystics. It is completely free to subscribe to these weekly newsletters. So if you feel called, or anybody that you know just needs an extra boost, or just that extra love or meditation before they start their crazy day, it's
Yeah.
totally free to subscribe at melsmystics.com.
So worth it.
Let's see.
It's so,
TikTok. TikTok's always fun. The Melissa Lori.
I
But
love
yeah,
it.
pretty much Melissa Lori on everything. And yeah, I make content because I want people to relate. I want people to feel something. I enjoy it, and I see you. I see everybody. I see the struggles. I see the pain. I see the competition. I see the body dysmorphia. I've like Meg just said, I've experienced so much firsthand, and God bless that I've had to have these experiences, because now I can help other people with it. So
Mhm.
if you feel like you're behind, or if you feel like you can't start today. Start scared, start afraid, start with one follower, start with one video. Even if you're nervous, you don't know what's going to come of it. If this is your passion, it will unfold, and the universe will provide and support you in all of those ways, because you will be shown the signs that you are on the right path.
Amen to that. Amen. You so couldn't have said it better than you just said it. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening. If you or someone you know resonates with this podcast, please follow Connecting the Thoughts and Mel's Mystics. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys. Thank you.